All right, 103 has come, the longest 3 minutes of my life. Um, Welcome, good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started now. Thank you for joining. If you're not already comfortable, go ahead and get comfortable. Um, Before we get started, next slide, please. Before we get started, I want to let everyone know that we're using a really cool, unique feature that Zoom has that allows us to to have separate audio channels for both Spanish interpreter and a Hmong interpreter. And these interpreters will be doing live interpretation during our presentations today. You can select the channels at the bottom of the Zoom screen by clicking the interpretation button as shown there. And I just want to note that some of the portions of the webinar may not be interpretable. So we apologize in advance, and thanks for your understanding for that. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as I was saying a moment ago, this is a Zoom webinar, which means that we cannot see or hear you if you're an attendee. However, if you do want to ask questions, please use the Q&A feature by clicking the button at the bottom of the screen. We won't be monitoring the chat feature very closely, so do not try and ask the questions there. Rather, use the Q&A function. We're recording the presenters so that we can make this available for those of the folks that weren't able to attend today. And we're going to save all the questions that you guys ask in the Q&A, as well as the answers, and make those available to all of the CSM folks as well. Next slide, please.
Science and technology drives the nation's progress and economic prosperity. Yet there is a severe shortage of U.S. students going into STEM disciplines. It is a critical time for STEM education. The College of Science and Mathematics at Fresno State embraces our role of preparing the next generation of science, technology, engineering, and math professionals. Our rigorous and engaging curriculum and programs are designed to give our students the competitive edge for excelling in exciting and diverse 21st century careers. Our students come to us from the Central Valley, every corner of California, and all around the world. They come from generations of Bulldogs and from families where a college education has, until now, been a distant dream. We are providing students with opportunities and access to a high-quality STEM education. Our students are as diverse and varied as our region and nation, but all share the same true grit and determination and the will to overcome any obstacle in their path. They aspire to improve their lives and those of their families, to transform our communities and our world. They come to us with dreams of solving society's greatest challenges in food, water, health, and the environment, complex problems that are relevant to the Central Valley and the world. We're providing our students with the tools to find solutions to these major challenges. We aspire to unleash the potential of our students and transform them into the leaders that are reshaping our valley. We are leading the way in innovative STEM teaching and research that enables students from all backgrounds to achieve their potential. We're serving as a national model for the integration of teaching and research while developing the skills beyond the classroom needed by a modern STEM workforce. We are growing and developing our region's K-12 STEM educators and inspiring and educating the next generation of STEM students through meaningful outreach. Our Downing Planetarium and Museum welcomes over 20,000 K-12 students a year to learn about the universe. Our physics outreach program is reaching hundreds of schools and thousands of students in the Central Valley. We are partnering with industry and regional agencies to solve regional challenges. We are proud of the accomplishments of our alumni who have gone on to important industry positions in the workforce, as well as prestigious graduate programs and highly ranked medical, dental, and pharmacy schools. From dreams to words to character to actions to habits to accomplishments to destiny, the College of Science and Mathematics at Fresno State is growing the next generation of science and technology leaders that are transforming our region. We are strategically located in time and place to help usher in the next revolution in STEM research and education, and to be a positive change agent for the region and the world. Come visit and learn more. Join us in our journey.
Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the College of Science and Mathematics Family Partnership Conference. We'd like to start off by congratulating all of our incoming students on reaching this significant milestone in your lives, and we're so excited to be a part of this next stage of your educational journey. We'd also like to thank all the families that are joining us with your students today. Your participation demonstrates your commitment to help your student be successful, and your continued involvement will be critical in helping them to successfully achieve their educational and career goals.
Thank you. We're really proud to be your hosts today. We're excited to be here, even on a Saturday, I promise. My name is Justin Schaefer. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Biology. I'm trained as a microbial ecologist and a mycologist. And this term, I'm going to be teaching an advanced class in introductory microbiome science. I grew up in California. I love it here. I went to Santa Cruz for my undergrad and University of Arizona in Tucson for my PhD. I love working in Fresno because it's kind of off the beaten path, but nearby a lot of the field sites where I like to work. And it has an outstanding student body, which I'm very excited that you all are going to be a part of. So very excited for that. Thank you.
And I'm Giovanni Izquierdo Leal, an assistant professor from the Department of Psychology. I'm a behavior scientist, and my research focuses on organizations and systems, leadership, and organizational change. This semester, I'm going to be teaching graduate courses in applied behavior analysis. I grew up in the Central Valley, like many of you. I completed my bachelor's here at Fresno State. I also completed my master's degree here at Fresno State before I went on to complete my PhD at the University of Nevada, Reno. I'm so excited to be back at Fresno State working with our amazing students here in the Central Valley. Miss Cynthia Arballo, an instructor for the Department of Modern and Classical Languages and Literature, will be acting as our Spanish interpreter. And then Miss Chong Yang, a student here at Fresno State, is going to be handling the Hmong interpretation. Next slide, please.
Awesome. So our overall goal here is to begin to forge a strong partnership between the faculty and the staff in the college and you, the families of our majors. And we all want the same thing, right? Our students to complete successfully their degrees and to develop skills and the experiences to go on to rewarding careers that will improve the lives of their families and our communities. We want to work together with you to support our students in achieving those goals. And we have a lot to learn from each other about how we can best do this. So we hope you will leave today's conference with a better understanding of what your new college student will experience in their first year, how to connect with the resources that are available to support our students, and practical ways to do this as they adjust to college life. We hope that you're inspired and excited by the possibilities of where your students' continuing education will lead, and we hope that you have a good time and have fun. It is the weekend. There we go. The agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a great program for you today with some really dynamic and inspiring presenters. We're going to begin that in a moment, with a welcome message from our president, Dr. Saul Jimenez Sandoval. After Dr. Zhuang Fu's, our provost and vice president of academic affairs, gives us a few words about how Fresno State supports and provides students with the best preparation for future success. Then the Dean of College of Science and Math, Dr. Chris Meyer, will provide a brief overview of some of the great things going on in our college, both inside and outside of the classroom, that helps our students develop into the next generation of leaders in science and math fields. We are going to present some information about resources available exclusively to CSM students. Then Dr. Carl Oswald and Dr. Martin Shapiro, professors in the psychology department here at Fresno State, will talk about practical strategies of helping you learn more in your classes. From there, we're going to hear from Dr. John Matsui, a professor at UC Berkeley, whose goal is to level the playing field for individuals who, like himself, do not fit that historical profile of success, and to help them become better leaders in their future science-related careers. We are going to hear from a panel of students and their parents about their experiences. And they're going to give some advice to our new College of Science and Math families. And last, we're going to end with some final thoughts from the dean. So we've got a packed schedule and we're just going to go ahead and jump on it. So we'll start now by hearing a welcome message from our president, Dr. Saul Jimenez Sandoval.
Hello, students and family members. I'm Dr. Saul Jimenez Sandoval, president of Fresno State, and I want to thank you for participating in this year's College of Science and Mathematics Family Partnership Conference. Family is critical for student success, and your presence here shows your strong commitment to helping further your child's education. My father, Alfonso Jimenez, taught me the value of hard work, and my late mother, Tila Sandoval, taught me the value of cultivating human relationships. To the students, who inspires you, and to whom will you dedicate your degree when you graduate? The transition from high school to college can be challenging, especially in STEM, but every student has the talent and ability to reach their fullest potential, to complete their degrees, and go on to find successful careers in their discipline. And there is no class too challenging for you at Fresno State. We have the tutors and resources you need to pass them. The need for STEM graduates has never been greater. A College of Science and Mathematics degree leads to well-paying and rewarding careers that benefit you, your families, our community, and our region. Recent graduates have moved on to jobs in education, healthcare, biotechnology, social services, information technology, and the aerospace industry, to name just a few. I thank you again for participating. I hope you will stay engaged with the College of Science and Mathematics through the family partnership and throughout your students' time here at Fresno State. Go Dogs!
Thank you to President Jimenez Sandoval for that message. I'd like to now introduce the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Zhuangning Fu, to inform us of how Fresno State is here to support all of you throughout your careers.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy, very excited to be here to showcase our excellent faculty and our talented new students. Our faculty staff devote all they have, all they do to student success. Fresno State is unique among all the national universities and regional universities with its very special mission and goal to uplift social mobility of the people in our community. So we have high national rankings. We ranked in the top of the nation among 400 plus national universities in this area. The university's graduation performance rate and our ability to better improve the community is unsurpassed. And this is the true strength of this institution. As you have heard from our two-star faculty, that they show a true love in seeing you are successful. I want to add to the parents, family members, friends, and the students' other loved ones who care about the student success and educational journey. And we have the cliche, so we all know it, and it takes a whole village to raise a child. Now the village is large, it's all of us, the whole valley and the community, especially people who work at Fresno State, who feel this charge, this mission, this drive to make sure you are successful, especially in the STEM field. As we all know, this family partnership initiative started in 2020 when we stumbled into the global pandemic with COVID. And especially hard at that time for new students who couldn't have a chance to interact with their faculty, staff, advisors, because we couldn't meet in person. So the college leadership started this program to help connecting family, students, and the university, in particular, this great college. I think this is so excellent. Now we are continuing this tradition, and I'm sure I'll do all I can to help extend, expand, and improve this program. I see this as a model for all other colleges of this university, and I see this as a model for all universities. Please listen to me. This is what I share with new students and every dog days of the last 10 summers when I was invited to speak to new students. I know at 18, 19 years old, when you are fresh from high school, you have a lot of life priorities. You are doing education, you may be working on the side, you need a social life, you need friendship, and you need romantic relationship, and you want to have some fun. All of these are hugely important to you. But please remember, in the next 4 years, place education at the center of your life. And anytime you can manage that, let all other things go around education. When the need of your education is in conflict, either big or small, with other needs of your life, please give education the top priority. We need faculty, family, parents, uncles, aunts, friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, to all help cement this notion. Because your success, I mean, student, your success is the success of your parents, is the success of your brothers and sisters. You will be a role model in your family, in your community. You will be able, a few years down the road, turn around and help them. When you are able to help your family, and you will be able to help your community, you'll be able to come back and help this great institution. This is what we have done in the past over 100 years. This is how we build a community. A college education will give you lifelong better pay, better medical insurance, and much higher civic engagement, and benefit your next generation. And all of this will start today. So please know Fresno State and College of Social Science, College of Math and Sciences have devoted faculty, advisors, staff, deans, and associate deans. They are ready and eager to help you, working with you, with your family, to make sure you are a successful STEM student today and a great STEM scientist tomorrow. I wish all of you success and enjoy the start of fall 2024.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fu. Next slide, please. It's my pleasure to now introduce Dr. Chris Meyer, Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, to talk about the opportunities our students will have within the college and the impact you can make. Take it away, Dean Meyer.
Great, thanks, Justin. And as Dean, it's a great honor to lead one of the 8 colleges that make up this outstanding university. And echoing the president and provost, it's been a fantastic experience working with the talented and dedicated and enthusiastic faculty, staff, and students here at Fresno State. I'm happy to share that I've walked a mile in your shoes as I graduated from our sister campus, Chico State, with a degree in chemistry a couple of years ago. So I came from a small rural town in Placer County. It's not too different or too far away from the Central Valley. And it was a wonderful choice to attend at Cal State. My experience as a student provided excellent preparation to go on to graduate school at UC Riverside in biochemistry and advanced training at Michigan State in biotech. I served as a faculty member and chair of another sister campus, Cal State Fullerton, and as a program director at the National Science Foundation. So congratulations on your decision to attend Fresno State. I've had the opportunity to work with educators, researchers, and students from all over the country when I was at the National Science Foundation. And I'm proud to say I wouldn't trade our faculty and staff and students for anyone else's. So very special place here at Fresno State. And you and your family are now part of of a diverse and vibrant community ecosystem, really, to use a biological term, committed to your development and success. So our hands-on approach will provide you with the technical, critical thinking, communication, and team science skills that are essential for exciting 21st century careers. A degree from our college opens up the doors to many amazing and rewarding career opportunities. Some you may be familiar with, while others present new and exciting opportunities. So to the parents, take some time to check in with your students and explore what they can do with their degrees, as there are many options. So our expertise in the college spans mathematical, physical, biological, and behavioral sciences. So while our disciplines are diverse, we're driven by our curiosity to understand the world around us and make it a better place. We need more STEM graduates for national health and well-being, progress, economic prosperity. And we're a network community, and by bringing together our diverse expertise, backgrounds, and experiences, we're able to comprehend and appreciate the world and solve complex problems in ways that would be impossible working in isolation. So as noted in the intro video, these challenges include those related to food, water, energy, health, and the environment. And so that's of vital importance to the Central Valley and the world. So many scientists and mathematicians that started their careers at Fresno State are creating solutions to these problems now, or contributing to solutions as part of teams. So you'll have opportunity to meet many of them in your time here. And tackling these big problems may feel like something distant and really beyond your grasp when you're just starting your college career. But many of you attending this conference will be doing just this in a few years. Many of our students go on to be co-authors on published papers and presentations at national and international meetings. This requires time and commitment from you and your families, and that may be challenging, but the payoff is enormous. And please know you're not alone in this. To echo the other speakers, we're here to help. And today is the beginning of a great partnership that will support you in every step along the way. So thank you.
Thank you, Dean Meyer. Okay, so we're going to transition and we're going to hear a couple of short videos about the services available just for students in the College of Science and Mathematics. The first is called the ARC and the second is called CASA.
Hi everyone, I'm AJ, a fourth-year biochemistry student at Fresno State, but also a part of CASA, the Center for Access to Science for All. Located in Science 1, Room 101, we provide so many programs decked with awesome staff tailored towards your success as a future graduate. Plus, our space is open for students to study, connect, and relax, hence our hospitality area. Best of all though, our newsletter provides volunteer work, shadowing mentors, paid research, internships, and so much more. I think I can say with absolute confidence that CASA can be your home away from home.
Hi everyone, my name is Marian Herrera and I am standing in front of the Advising and Research Center for the College of Science and Math. This is where you'll be meeting with our advisors to create four-year academic plans. We also partner with programs and organizations like HCOP and LSAP in case you're interested in taking a pre-professional route. We offer virtual and in-person appointments 4 days a week, and we dedicate Wednesdays for virtual drop-in advising sessions. We're located in the Science 1 building, room 136, just in case you would like to stop by.
Awesome. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Sorry there, I was muted after this many years. I can't remember to turn off mute. Possibly most importantly, know that your professors this semester and every semester are here to teach you and support you in your educational journey. We welcome you to reach out anytime to attend our office hours or stop by just to say hello. In my case, even if you're not a psychology major, always feel free to reach out and ask about graduate school or anything else you might need to feel supported. I was a first-generation college student, and I know the power of social support. I'd love to support you in any way that I can so that I see you cross that stage in your cap and gown, and I know that my colleagues feel the same.
Indeed, I'd just like to echo those words of support. I look forward to seeing you on campus in the classroom, and if you're interested, also in the lab. So welcome.
Next slide, please. It's now my honor to welcome my colleagues in the psychology department, Dr. Carl Oswald and Dr. Martin Shapiro. They're going to tell us about methods of helping you learn more in your classes.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I have some slides to show. Let's see. There you go. Okay, so I'm Dr. Martin Shapiro, and I'm a faculty member in the psychology department. And the dean has asked Dr. Oswald and I to make some videos that are helpful for you to be a better student, to enjoy college more, to learn more, to retain more. And we're just going to introduce these videos and some of the things that we talk about. Dr. Oswald is going to talk about some very specific learning strategies, and I'm going to talk about some broader issues. And the videos are freely available. They're about 7 minutes long each. They're kind of fun, kind of funny. So I did a video on attention. I specialize in learning and memory, and I also study decision making and a little bit about sleep. And Dr. Oswald studies memory and cognition. And one of the most important things in learning is attention. You can't learn if you're not attending. So in my video, I talk about what is pulling your attention away and some really practical guides and helpful hints to get that attention back. Because social media platforms and apps, they have spent millions of dollars to do just one thing, and that is to gain your attention and to keep your attention. And unlike other generations, this has really been a struggle for our students because they're so good at it, right? I have the same problem. So I love watching videos, funny videos, sports videos. It's the animal videos that get me, right? My phone is constantly bringing me to watch a funny animal video and pulling my attention away. We see this in our classes too, because a lot of people have their devices with them, and they're very distracting. They really pull your attention. So in my video, I talk a little bit about some helpful hints to kind of combat what is a really strong industry on gathering your attention. I think one of the most important pieces of advice I can give you is sleep. You have to prioritize good, consistent sleep, and that's really hard for college students. I study this in college students, and the thing that can ruin attention and memory and creativity and just mental health is poor sleep. So there's my one piece of advice. I want to talk about the importance of groups. So COVID-19 really pulled us away from our groups, and groups are so important in college. And not only for studying groups are essential, and library has all these resources to help you with your study groups. But a recent survey was done about the emotions that college students are feeling, and enjoyment is way up there. College is great, college is fun, but look at the other ones: stress and worry and loneliness. And groups are a great buffer against that. So join a club, join groups, group study. Just this morning, this is my group. I'm a faculty advisor for a science club. And just this morning, we built our little booth, and you can get information about the things that they want to study. They're great. We go bowling, we go out to dinner, and we also talk about some science stuff. It's really a lot of fun. Okay, another thing I want to talk about is myths. And I have a video on this. Myths about learning can interfere with your ability to do well. So one of the funny myths is you only use 10% of your brain. Believe me, I'm a neuroscientist. Yeah, use the whole thing. But another myth that can really interfere is people say, oh, I'm a right brain person, or I'm a left brain person. I'm a left brain person, I do math and science. I'm a right brain person, and I'm creative. There's no evidence there's such a thing as left and right brain people, right? Another thing that we see a lot in K through 12 education, really need to get rid of this, is the idea of learning styles, right? I'm a visual learner, or I'm an auditory learner. There's no such thing. Lots of research on this. So don't go into a class thinking, oh, I'm not doing well because I'm a visual learner. Just a myth, okay? Okay, finally, I teach a course in motivation. And I want to talk a little bit about that. I made a video about this. And these are the things that rank top 4 of what motivates people in college. Pursue my passion, create a better life, improve my income, discover my purpose. Those are both extrinsic and intrinsic motivators. An extrinsic motivator is I'm taking a class to get a grade, or I want to make more money in the future. And those are fine. Those are good motivators. But what we see is that students tend to do better, are more successful in college, enjoy the experience more when they talk about things like, I enjoy learning, I'm curious, I really enjoy the process. So think about that when you're taking classes. And I'm going to end with a quote from Mark Twain that deals with this idea. He said, I never let schooling interfere with my education. And what did I take from that, which I love this quote, is learn for the sake of learning. Take a fun class. I was a biology major as an undergraduate, but I have a minor in fine arts because art's just fun, right? So knock on faculty's doors, send them an email, ask to participate in their lab. We love when students do that. Okay, so get the most you can out of college by enjoying the process. All right, thanks. Sorry for the slide problems. I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Oswald now, and he's going to give you some very specific, accurate advice about how to better learn and retain information.
All right. We'll wait for our slides to come up. Thank you so much, Dr. Shapiro. Thank you for having me here, everyone. Welcome. I wish I could see your faces. I see that there are almost 200 people in this Zoom session, and I take great joy in seeing faces and looking at my students and so on. Welcome to the families and so on. So I'm here to tell you about some practical advice, not only for students, but this will help you too, you family members as well, in your daily lives. So as Dr. Shapiro mentioned, we are in the psychology department. My specialization is in human memory. I've been studying it for many, many years. I love talking about it. I love thinking about it. Come and see us anytime if you're interested in any of these topics. So the first one I'm going to tell you about, if I can go to the next slide, because I don't have access, is something called retrieval practice. So don't be overwhelmed by fancy names. This is really just a simple strategy of saying it's better to test yourself than to restudy something. So the subtitle here is an absurdly effective method of learning. So to give you a little context here, the dean of our college approached Dr. Shapiro and I last year and said, do you think that you could create a series of videos perhaps that might help incoming students? And we did it, of course, gladly. And in the chat, you'll see a link, I hope, to the videos that we created. So we have a series of 8 videos designed specifically for students to help you become better learners, better students, more adapted to the university environment and so on. And like I say, one of them is on retrieval practice. We've tried to make them a little bit humorous. You'll see a little clip of Dr. Shapiro and I in the beginning. We're not only colleagues, we're also friends. So we have a little back and forth. But these are really accessible videos, one of which is, as I say, on retrieval practice. And I want to give you an example of what that would look like in real life. One of the things that I often hear as a memory researcher is, I'm terrible at remembering names. I'm terrible at remembering names. Yes, we're all bad at remembering names, but let me just give you an example of an interaction that I hear all the time. You might hear it say, oh, hi, I'm Dr. Oswald, and the student might say, no, hi, I'm Alejandro. And I say, well, it's nice to meet you, and I move on. And seconds later, Alejandro's out of my mind. But I can actually retrieve or test Alejandro's name in my head. So instead of saying nice to meet you, I can say nice to meet you, Alejandro. I'm now retrieving that information and bringing it to mind, and that actually facilitates long-term learning. So we're all we all have bad habits. We all have bad habits, myself included. And I'm going to try to give you kind of a sales job to get out of your bad habits. One of them is to stop looking over your notes before an exam to study your notes. It's a terrible idea. And replace it with this absurdly effective method called retrieval practice. So what I want you to do is stop just restudying and instead test yourself. It's going to take a little more effort, but learning requires effort. So the bottom line, if you can click on this, because I don't think I have access to it. Whoops. Oh, maybe I do have it. Yes, I do have access. The bottom line here is whenever you can, test yourself, test yourself, test yourself. Get into the study groups like Dr. Shapiro talked about and test yourself. So if I was going to wrap this video up, and hopefully you'll watch these and use these, and by the way, distribute them widely, not only to other students, the family members, anyone you know, free, right? Just accessible to everyone. The number one thing, you will learn far more with the same amount of time. And secondly, the retention you have will be far greater. So get out of the lazy habits you have, and you know I'm telling you the truth because I've seen it over and over 25 years of being a psychology professor. I just want to encourage you to get out of your old habits and start testing yourself. Another extremely powerful method, and another video on this, is what's called the spacing effect, spacing out your studying. I used to hear this advice where I'd say, someone would say, well, what you really should do is have a study session. And one study session where you're going to say, I'm going to just study all of my biology at the same time, really pack it in. Well, that turns out to be terrible advice. And by the way, one note that I want to say, and I should have said this earlier, is that Dr. Shapiro and I created these videos not based on our own intuitions, not based on our own experiences in the classroom or in life, but all of this is based on really good science. There's a tremendous amount of peer-reviewed research on all of the things that we include in our videos. And one of them, as I point out here, is this is the value of spacing out our studying. So what does that actually mean? I might have a piece of information or a topic and I study it or I retrieve it, back to retrieval practice, and then I wait a period of time. People ask me all the time, what does that mean to wait a period of time? Well, there's technical answers, but usually a day is optimal. So wait a day and then retrieve it again. You'll learn up to 30% more just by spacing out your studying. So don't cram, don't mass it all together. Space out your study. You'll be a far more effective student. I promise. It works, by the way, for anything you want to learn. So you parents, you family members, you're at your job, you're training somebody else. You want to use this in your own lives. It works for anything that you want people to retain, whether it's job skills or what have you. Same amount of time, more long-term retention, higher grades, more access to all the amazing things you might have in your life as a result of education, including graduate school and so on. A third video that I created is what's called metacognition. Don't be overwhelmed by the title. Again, it's just jargon. It's really just about studying the things that we don't know. It seems so obvious, but I want to try to encourage you to be more efficient students. Be more efficient. What does that mean? Well, when you go to study for an exam, what I see all the time is that students just go over everything. And I say, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? What about all that stuff you know already? Why are you restudying it? Why not focus your attention on what you don't know? Well, it turns out there's a lot of good research, of good science that tells us how we can tell what we know and what we don't know, because you want to study the things you don't know and not go over those things you already know, right? So this is a really important concept. And the bottom line is this: study what you don't know. It seems so obvious. It really does. But the research isn't. And by the way, our own intuitions are all oftentimes just flat out wrong about what I know and what I don't know. So get over those intuitions. Look at the science. This video tells you how to do that. So how to know what you know increases our efficiency dramatically. I can't say this strongly enough. I know this might sound like a little bit of a sales job, what Dr. Shapiro and I are talking to you about, and it is. We're trying to get you to change those old habits, use new ones, understand myths and things like that, increase motivation, have focused attention so that you can be better students. And the last video that I created is one about mixing up your study conditions, what we call, again, jargon, encoding variability. Oftentimes I've heard this, I'm a student, and what I do is I have my special time and my special place, and everything's just right. And that's where I'm going to have my own study time. Well, it turns out that research in my area of what's called cognitive psychology, the study of thinking, memory, learning, tells you that that's actually untrue. In fact, if we can mix up the conditions of learning, we actually learn far more. So, given that we can have focused attention, like Dr. Shapiro talked about, it's much better to mix up our studying, how we think about it, where we think about it, the times of day, and so on. So anything you can do to change up or vary conditions of learning is going to help you. Don't sit in the same seat, by the way, when you come into your classrooms. Simple. That's a simple, basic strategy of mixing up learning conditions. So this results, like all the things I just talked about, in far greater learning, provided you can use focused attention. Dr. Shapiro and I, we've talked a lot about what he mentioned, these big mega social app companies whose single focus is to get your time and get your attention. And what we know from so much research in human learning is that if we can focus our attention, we learn a lot more. You think you can use divided attention? You think you can have your phone on while it's notifying you of all these amazing new videos on TikTok while you're studying? No, it's not true. It's a myth. It's hard to put it away. It's hard to leave those alone. So my advice in mixing it up is only true if you can use focused attention. It doesn't help to go to Starbucks and try to learn and say, oh, I heard this thing by Dr. Oswald who says mix it up, so I went to Starbucks. No, it's a noisy environment. You can't focus, so use focused attention. So these videos will hopefully help you, and hopefully you know now a little bit more about motivation. You know a little bit more about attention, the value of study groups, the myths about learning, retrieval practice or testing as a way of learning, as I talked about, spacing out your studying the things you don't know, and of course, mixing up your studying. So, final thoughts on this. These are all based on solid, reliable science over a very long time. These are actually pretty easy to understand. They're not some dramatically complex concepts. They're easy. They may require, and probably require, changing your study habits, you students. You're probably not very good at this. You're probably not very efficient. You're obviously good enough because here you are at Fresno State embarking on your STEM careers in undergraduate education, and we're all so proud of you, but you want to be even more efficient. You want to be even better. Change your habits with these. They will require more effort, but that's okay. Learning requires effort, and ultimately you will absolutely be more successful as a student. You'll be more successful in life going forward. And again, to you parents and family members, take the things that Dr. Shapiro and I just mentioned, incorporate those into your lives too. So this isn't a lesson to just students. So thank you so much for giving us your time and attention to listen to what we have to say. And hopefully those videos are going to be helping you in your future.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Oswald and Dr. Shapiro, for that. Every time I see this, this is like the coolest, very informative, very intriguing presentations. We'll be sharing the links to those videos in a subsequent email. So if you're wondering, where do I get the videos? Don't worry, we'll be sharing those soon. I wish I had access to those videos when I was in your guys' shoes. So make sure to take a look at those. Okay. It's my great pleasure to now introduce Dr. John Matsui. Dr. John Matsui is a product of the California public school system and grew up in a low-income household in the flats of West Berkeley. His training is in evolutionary biology and science education. He co-founded and directs the Biology Scholars Program in Berkeley's Department of Integrative Biology, while also serving as the Assistant Dean for Biological Sciences at UC Berkeley. His outstanding work has been recognized by the 2014 SOCNAS Distinguished Mentor Award, and in 2015, he received the National Science Foundation Presidential Award for Excellence in Science from President Obama. For Excellence in Science, Mathematics, and Engineering mentoring from President Obama. That's abbreviated PAESMEM, if you've heard of that before. Dr. Matsui, we're really happy to have you here. Please take it away when you're ready.
Yes, thank you very much. Let's see. There we go. So I too wish that I had had a similar sort of orientation to college, to hear from people who truly care and want to see you succeed. My journey was one that was met with many barriers, many mistakes, many redos. And so my life's work has been around trying to share what I have learned and to create opportunities for students to get it right the first time. And so I'm going to be talking, like the others have been, about academic success and give you some thoughts and advice. And the advice and thoughts have mostly come from my work with the Biology Scholars Program. And I want to add my congratulations to the congratulations that have been given to you already. As most of us know, it's no small task to go on to higher education. I'm the first in my family to go to college. I come from a low-income background. And the distance I had to travel to get into first a community college, then into UC Berkeley graduate, was a long distance. And so I want to say to you, congratulations to both the students and their families. And to give you an idea, a little bit about my background and history. Again, my story begins with me being first to college and low income. I had no idea about what the path was going to be in higher education. And so through great resourcefulness, a few mentors who took the time to work with me, I learned to navigate higher education. One of the things that, one of the phrases that really does capture my journey is the phrase "professional is personal." And I think that many of us on the faculty side and staff side, and probably students, if you think about that, whatever is personally important to you eventually translates into something that you do professionally. So our backgrounds, our experiences, where we grew up, our first language, the type of music that we listen to and the food that we eat, all are part of who we are and what we bring to the professional arena. And I really do believe in this phrase. And this phrase, professional is personal, really does explain a lot of the path that I've chosen as an educator and as a researcher. Let me tell you a little bit about the Biology Scholars Program. It's a STEM equity program, which means I'm trying to level the playing field for all students, irrespective of their backgrounds. And here you see a subset of my students. Over the last 30 years, I've worked with over 3,600 low-income and first-to-college students. Students like myself, who in fact did not have a roadmap to success in higher education. And if you're interested in going to the website of BSP, here is the QR code, and I'll just give you a moment to take a picture of that and to go to the website. But if I were you, I'd be asking the following question. What does BSP have to do with today's event and you? Clearly, you've succeeded and are going to be going to Cal State Fresno. Today's event is about success. BSP is at UC Berkeley for students who are going to Cal. So what does this have to do with you? I think that the words of my students carry a lot of weight. In fact, I'm not a trained ethnographer, but in my many years with BSP and working with my students over the last 30 years, I've learned to really listen to my students, and there's great wisdom in what they have to say about success. And everything I'm going to say from this point on has been driven by the words of my students. And then I go and look into the literature and the research and the science behind what I have done to actually support the success of my students. But in terms of what BSP means to students, what they've derived from participating as a student in my program and their success at Berkeley, here are a few examples. BSP has defined the statistics together. I think that for first to college low-income students, the expectation is, especially in STEM, that you may not be as successful as others who have a family history of higher education or come from economic backgrounds that provide opportunity and access prior to coming to college that might set you up for success at college. But success is possible, and you've heard this from the previous speakers, and you'll hear this from the panel of students as well. Here's another slide where one of my students is saying, BSP, encouragement when it's needed most. STEM is challenging. STEM is difficult. STEM is a pursuit that requires long hours and a lot of hard work. And because of this, encouragement, the village, your friends, your community, your family away from home and your family back home is all important. BSP is where I discovered my strength. You will discover a lot of things about yourself, a lot of the things that maybe weren't apparent to you in high school, but they become really, really apparent. Both things that are strengths, but also things maybe that you need to work on. And this is about going to those things that in fact require more time to meet the challenge, and also understanding that you do come with a lot of strength, a lot of assets that you can build on. BSP is believing that I can and I will. I think this is really, really important. Sometimes our beliefs are shaken about our ability to succeed, shaken by maybe that first midterm where we get a C, or that first paper where we don't really pass. Shaken by maybe not having as high a GPA as we thought we were going to achieve our first semester or quarter. But we need to believe. We need to believe, and there are ways and support networks that will help us to believe. BSP means I am not alone. We talked about nobody's succeeding alone, that it takes a village, it takes a family, it takes community, and the fact that you are not alone. And this is something, of course, that we need to build our networks of support, encouragement, places where we can actually celebrate and also cry, because college is challenging, and STEM, as a STEM major, you will be challenged. And of course, we've talked about family over and over and over again. And I think it's important to find that family away from home in order to succeed. And here is one of my first students 30 years ago who became a physician. BSP means dreams can come true. And so we have to hold on to our dreams, irrespective of barriers and, in quotes, failures that we encounter along the way. And so when we talk about success, if success were as easy as simply doing X, Y, and Z, all of us would be successful. But success is not as straightforward as one might hope. And so here are some thoughts and advice around success. And here are 7 points that I've kind of skimmed or gleaned from my interaction with students over the last 30 years. Let's begin with hard work and success. The notion is that if you do the following, if you work hard enough and you're smart enough, you're going to succeed. And I call this into question because you will find yourself working harder than you may have ever worked before. when you go to college, when you go to Cal State Fresno, but you may not get the grades, the outcomes that you had expected as in high school. So you're working really hard and you're not being as successful. And sometimes the false conclusion is that you're not smart enough. And there's so much more that goes into success than just being smart enough and working hard enough. And we're going to talk about some of those things. So don't come to that conclusion. This is the conventional wisdom, but in fact, you're plenty smart. And it's about learning a whole new system, making that transition, as was discussed earlier. That transition is a tough transition, going from high school to college. And when people tell you that college is not high school, you will quickly learn really what that means. Also, another factor that's really, really important are starting points and life circumstances. Everybody wants to be a normal college student. We all want to move ahead and graduate in 4 years. We want to take the full load, get our internships and our research experience, just like everybody else. But because life is not fair, and because we have different life circumstances and therefore different starting points, for some of us, it may be a straight line going from A, high school, to B, to college. The transition is not as difficult because of our circumstances, our starting points. But if you're the first in your family to go to college, if you come from a low-income background, life can confound this A to B route. In fact, you will find that maybe the route is not as straightforward as you might have thought. And so our starting points and current life circumstances, some of us will have to continue to work in college, others will not. And because of this, the playing field is not level, and success may take a little longer. The high school that you went to may have prepared you or may not have prepared you. The last time you took chemistry, for example, may have been in the 10th grade, or it may have been an AP chemistry course that really, really looks very similar to the chemistry course that you're going to be facing at Cal State Fresno. And depending upon those differences, the route that you take to success may take a little longer. It may involve some starts and stops and choosing other options, not the option to not do STEM, but how to get to that point where you graduate with a STEM degree. The pressure to conform is really, really great also. In fact, one of the things that I found with students is that they compare a whole lot. Students may say something like, well, you haven't started research yet. I've already seen that work in high school and you haven't seen it yet. Again, because of different starting points, because of different life circumstances, because of different opportunities and differences in access to those opportunities, the pressure to conform may force you to do things before you're ready. And readiness is really, really important, as is timing. If you're not ready to succeed, if you have to take the pre-calculus course before you take calculus, if you have to take the pre-chemistry course before you take the general chemistry course, then in fact, this may be what you have to do. But the pressure to conform says you need to be like everybody else. And sometimes it's very, very hard to resist that pressure. But in fact, your goal is success, and the path that you take may be different than the path that somebody else takes. So success is about resisting the pressure to conform, to really do it in your way, in your time, because the goal is quality and not speed. Another consideration is excellence to date versus potential excellence. Some people, based upon opportunity, have seen it all already, the pre-college work. They are well prepared. They went to community college along with taking their high school courses. They've AP'd out of the world, whereas others of us may have gone to high schools that haven't prepared us quite as well. And so what we can show maybe the first semester or quarter may not be what our full potential is. And so be patient with yourselves. Understand that for some of us, it may take longer to express our full potential. and that the person sitting next to you may already know something, but it's not, again, how fast, but how well you do eventually. What you're going to be entering is a marathon and not a sprint. And so you need to work at your pace. You need to reach out and get help. You need to understand that we all have different starting points and life circumstances that really affect our ability to express our potential to excel in STEM. The specter of others is really, really important. And by others, I'm not just talking about on campus, others being advisors, others being faculty members, and others, critical others, are in fact the other students. Individuals are watching. They're making note of your progress. They're making note of your successes. And I'll use the failure word, of your failures, of your challenges. But also others can include people back in the back home community, your families, and so on, your friends, your relatives. And because for some of us, if back home is really, really different than on campus, it's going to make a difference, because not only are you going to college, but it feels like everybody else is there too, because they're depending upon you. Which brings me to the next slide of back home and how similar and how different town and gown are. By town, I'm talking about the surrounding community, and gown, I'm talking about the academic environment. If town and gown, if the culture back home is really, really similar to the culture on campus, if you talk about the same things, if the family discussions around dinner sound like the discussions that happen in the general biology course, then great. There is no conflict. There is a lot of synergy between back home and on campus. But if there's a great difference between back home and on campus, and then that's another transition that one has to make. You may find yourself being torn between the culture on campus and the culture back home. And this is quite normal, because when you go back home, you find that maybe the interests, the way people express themselves, may be very, very different than the way people express themselves on campus. And it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to you to learn to bridge those differences, to really understand that back home and campus, if they're really, really different, it's going to be on you to be the bridge and to help others back home understand what you're doing on campus, and on campus to really do bring your whole self and to understand the strengths that you bring from that back home environment that will help you succeed in STEM at Cal State Fresno. Mentors. Mentors are really important. Nobody succeeds alone. And in fact, mentoring is something that all of us have been talking about. We have started the mentoring process with you here today on the Zoom. And these categories of mentors and mentorship are my categories. And I tell you this because mentors are really, really critical to success. And in fact, some mentors can actually get in the way of your success. And so let me give you those categories. We have our cheerleaders, individuals who say, yes, you can. They're always in your corner. This is typically family members who will do anything in support of you, who are always in your corner, who will always have your back. Some friends may be in that category as well. Cheerleaders can provide you with that emotional support, but what they can't provide you oftentimes are the details of how to succeed. They're providing you with everything they can, but if they haven't gone to college or if they haven't gone to Cal State Fresno, maybe they can't give you the specific advice, the strategies, the ways to think about, the ways to make choices that will help you be successful. But God bless those cheerleaders, because we all need that emotional support. Another type of mentor is what I call gatekeeper. Gatekeepers oftentimes will tell you no, will question why you want to do X, Y, or Z. They will really question whether or not you're capable. Gatekeepers are just that. They hold the keys and they want to keep you. They will let you in if they feel like you can pass, if you're qualified, if you're ready. They will keep you out if they judge you too quickly and say, no, you don't belong. A gatekeeper can be something like an advisor who makes their decision on your academic future, let's say based on a C grade. You got a C in general chemistry. Maybe you're not cut out for STEM. It's only going to get harder. That's bad science. That's only a single grade, and that advice is based on a single data point. An individual who really wants to help give you advice that is more comprehensive, that takes in more factors rather than being judged by a single grade. You are not your GPA, because so much goes into what GPA you have or what grade you've gotten. When you last took your chemistry course, what your work circumstances are, all those other sorts of things. So beware of gatekeepers. Individuals that I call mercenaries, they want to count you because they want to advance their careers. Their interest in you is to be able to say that they have somebody from your background, let's say in their class or in their lab, so that when they're writing a proposal or when they're trying to apply for a career advancement, they can say that they've worked with individuals from your background without really knowing you and really what you need. Be aware of mercenaries. The last category is one of coach. Coaches, for those of you that have done performing arts or athletics, good coaches understand you. They assess where you are, they ask you where you want to be, and with that knowledge, they develop an individualized plan for success. Coaches are the type of mentor that you should really be looking for. Ones who truly care, who know you, and really will build a plan around your individual circumstances and history. So as you write this next chapter of your life story, remember the following. Wherever you go, go with all of your heart. I think this is really, really important, because success is not just all about head, but it's also about heart. Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Thank you, Dr. Matsui, for such an informative, inspiring, and valuable presentation. We're so grateful to have you here with us. Now, if we could just pull the slide deck up. There we go. So now we're going to hear from some of our students and parents to provide some words of advice and encouragement to all of you families and our new students. So I'm going to introduce the College of Science and Math Associate Dean, Dr. Jason Bush, and Ms. Morgan Britter from the Dean's Office, who will moderate our panel.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Esquidaleo. So I'm Jason Bush. I'm Associate Dean for the College of Science and Math. For this next segment, we are right on time, so we'll be taking about 30-35 minutes to ask some questions of our student and parent panel. Before we get to that, I would like to say a few thank yous. Thank you to Cynthia and Chong, our expert interpreters. They've got their work cut out for them today. So thank you for that. Thanks to our organizing committee. That includes Dr. Beth Weinman, a professor in the Earth Environmental Sciences Department, and our first year experience bond program director. Thank you, Dr. Weinman. Thanks to Ms. Lilia De La Cerda, our CASA director. And special thanks to our Dean's Office staff, Alejandro Mendez, our High Impact Practices coordinator, who's behind the scenes running all of this. So thank you, Alejandro. And of course, Morgan Britter, our media specialist, who is here to help with the moderation of the panel. If you have any specific questions, you can drop them into the Q&A function. And helping us to answer those questions are some of our outstanding ARC advisors. So our Advising and Resource Center, ARC, which is located on the first floor foyer of the Science One building. We have Ms. Sonia Romero, Ms. Rosa Briseño, and Ms. Jessica Bustos here to help us with those questions. So with that, I would like to introduce our student and parent panelist, Yasmina, Andy, Milena, Larry, Jeffrey, and Ms. Christine Thibodeau. If you can take a couple seconds to introduce yourself before we get into the questions, just feel free to unmute and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Yasmina Johnson, and I am a proud graduate of got my my bachelor's at Fresno State, and I'm starting the master's program in 2 weeks, and super excited. Nice to meet you all.
Hello, my name is Melina. I'm a second year, incoming second year. I'm majoring in biology and minoring in chemistry. Nice to meet you all.
Hi, everyone. My name is Larry. I am a graduate from the physics program. I'm also a graduate from the SMIT camp program as well. And then I'm currently in my physics credential and also working as a teacher at Clovis East.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeffrey. I'm a fourth year Earth and Environmental Science student.
And I'm Christine. I'm Jeffrey's parent, and I am also a Fresno State graduate, a business major a very long time ago. So happy to be here.
And Andy?
Oh, hello. My name is Andy. I'm a biology major. I just graduated from Fresno State and will be starting my master's program here at Fresno State in 2 weeks as well.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here today. So we're going to popcorn this a little bit, Morgan and I. The first question I'm going to pose to the group, and anyone can answer. Why did you pick the major that you did? So what is your major, and why did you pick that particular major?
Hi, my major, I'm a psychology major, and I picked that major because health and wellness has always been something that has been, I've been passionate about. And mental health is very important because I believe it all begins with our thinking, because how we think, what we think we will say, and what we say is who we will be. So that is why I picked psychology.
I picked biology. I'm majoring in biology. I'll be honest, as a high school senior, I didn't know what I really wanted to major in. All I knew was I wanted to go the pre-med route. So I heard biology as one of the most common ones. So I chose it. I was like, oh, I like the sciences, so I chose it. That's why. But I'm minoring in chemistry because after this first year, I realized that I really like chemistry, so I chose it.
I majored in physics because I'm gonna be actually, why did I do physics? But I just really enjoyed physics when I was in high school, and then I knew I wanted to teach it. But I didn't know the specific route that I wanted to go. So I heard that Fresno State had a physics teaching program. So it's like it's a major specifically for people that want to teach physics, and they have it for biology, they have it for earth and environmental science, they have it for chemistry as well. But just physics really stood out to me just because it's a very fun science that I feel like a lot of people can find a lot of joy in, despite the math. The math was pretty difficult.
I chose my major as Earth and Environmental Science because over the course of my first year in college, in the bond program, it really got me excited and like engaged into the environment side of Earth and Environmental Science. And it's always been a passion of mine.
I chose biology mainly because originally when I entered Fresno State, I wanted to be a dentist, and it honestly helped that I've always liked biology, and I always knew I wanted to be in STEM, and biology was just what I felt I was best at, and I appreciated the most.
All right, thank you guys for those answers. So moving on, another question for students. Can you talk about your transition into college from high school?
I'll go ahead and start. My transition was a very long transition as I am a returning student, not the traditional student. I am actually a mom and grandma. I'm 55 years old, and I decided to come back when COVID happened, and it was a very daunting task, seemingly. I went back to city as I hadn't been to school since 1989. So I have to say that it was definitely seemingly a daunting task because I had to start all over. I switched majors at that time. And but it was the best decision I've ever made, one of the best decisions I've ever made. And especially I have to truly say that once I transferred to Fresno State, that's when the true journey began. And it no longer became daunting. I enjoyed the process, as Dr. Shapiro said. It is about the process. And my my time as a bulldog has been the best time. So I am super excited for everybody here. I'm super excited for all the new students because you are about to have the best time of your life.
So I'll go ahead next. My transition to high school, well, actually it was last year, so I have it very fresh in my mind. I'll be honest, it was very difficult. It was a lot of challenges. I faced things happening at home, in school. I learned a lot about myself as well. So even though it was difficult, I learned a lot. Um, Coming from, first generation, low income, it was really difficult at first. I was worried about the money. I was like, so how am I gonna, pay? FAFSA helped a lot, but I had to buy my own car. I had to start. I was looking into trying to get into a job and to work, and it was just. I think the hardest part was just the responsibilities. It isn't about only starting school, but it's also about becoming an adult. I think that was the hardest transition, that not only I was being thrown into a new world of education and into a new world that it was hard to, be understood by my parents, but into following the responsibilities of an adult. So I think that was the hardest. But even though it was hard, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot of strengths, just like Dr. Mitsui said, a lot of strengths and a lot of areas in where I'm still trying to improve on.
My transition from high school to college, it happened right at the peak of COVID because I graduated in 2020. It was very, very rough. Like I did not know what I was getting myself into. I remember back in high school, like I didn't like study much. I went into like my classes and I took pretty high level classes and I was like, oh, this is easy. I don't need to study. I can ace all my tests. And then I took it was like a high level calculus class with Dr. Capra. And I remember going to the test and I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. I didn't study the night before. It's like everything, the content's all in my brain, right? And then I got an F on that test. So, and then I had a mental breakdown. And then I realized that I had to actually start studying and had to actually build study skills to be able to pass this class. And something that I also really valued about Dr. Capra, who didn't really know me at all, but she had like this thing for students that she believed that we can all do better. And I felt like she was a very big support during that class. That she was very much like, Larry, like you can do so much better than this. You should probably start watching the videos that I put out. And I was like, I should probably start doing that. And I should probably start reading the textbook. And I also learned that I should probably start reading the syllabuses too. So that was a pretty rough transition, but luckily I got to be in the class. So I was pretty happy about that.
No, yeah, I agree with Larry and Melina. I think the hardest part was the responsibility. I think as I think the most significant for me as a college student, you don't really have people that are like you don't actually have to go to class. You can like if you want to, you can skip class and everything like that. And there's no one's gonna hold you. Like people still get paid and stuff like that. So it's like holding yourself accountable and focusing on your education and knowing like you need to take a certain amount of responsibility that yeah, I'm in college and I've read like a certain amount of adult where it's your responsibility to like sit down and study and stuff like that and just getting used to that responsibility and taking an initiative.
Yeah, my transition was, yeah, that chaotic and kind of nerve-wracking, just kind of coming to that realization that I'm an adult now and the new responsibilities that come with that. And really something that kind of helped me was that just working with professors for classes and just communicating and talking constantly. Um, During my first year, it was just bond that was really helping me a lot. And working with Dr. Weinman actually has really been helpful and was really helpful for me as a first year student.
Fantastic. Thank you all. All right. So the next question is kind of a two-parter. What things made your transition into college easier or made them harder? So what made the transition easier or harder?
I would like to piggyback off of Jeffrey and off of everyone really, but Jeffrey, the part that he said was he made those connections. That was key. Had I not made the connections with all of the parts, with my advisor, with the different professors, there's so much support at Fresno State. And so I would truly like to just say to you that any question you have can be answered. Any situation you have that there's someone there that can help you with it. But you have to definitely speak up. You have to be that squeaky wheel. It's okay to ask questions. In fact, they encourage it. And that truly is what has helped the success, is really realizing and getting comfortable with asking for help. And so I just want to say that to all the students coming in, reach out. Every single staff and faculty member at Fresno State is there to help you, and they want you to succeed.
Yes, I completely agree with Yasmina. One thing that helped me with my transition was all the help, all the support that Fresno State has to offer. As a freshman, a lot of people are going to start reaching out to you, meetings, your academic advisors. Listen to those emails and reach out because it helps a lot. Those connections are vital. And I know it may seem like a big mountain because when I first went in and I would hear people saying, oh, make connections, talk to other people. At first, I was like, oh, it's hard, like, especially since I've always, stayed in my own little comfort zone. But in order to make that change, you can start small. I started small, smiling at a stranger, talking to my partner, asking the professor the question after class, and slowly but surely you'll realize that if you were able to succeed in those small areas, you can do more. And then you're going to start pushing yourself. It's like, okay, I can do more. I can do more. And yeah, those connections are vital.
The thing that made my transition to college a lot easier was definitely my advisor, Dr. Arvisu. He was super, super helpful in helping me get into the programs that I needed. And I feel like I owe a lot of my college success to him and even my career success to him because he's the reason that I'm even working at the school, the school that I am at in the first place, because of the opportunities that he provided for me. Some things that kind of made it more difficult. Unfortunately, there are some, professors that you might not click with as well, but there's a lot of professors out there that are going to be like your second parent on campus, or like a really good friend to you. I remember I was super intimidated by one of my professors, Dr. Hansen, but then by the end of the school year, I was like, oh my God, this person is like amazing. Like she still texts me and emails me different opportunities that I can be accustomed to, and just making those connections with your professors, even the ones that you may not like at first, but they'll probably grow on you if anything. So hopefully that helps.
One of the things I did was just finding places that I'm comfortable with. Like I know for some people, like they really like the library. Me personally, I've never been able to study or like focus at the library because I think it's too loud and like there's too many things going on. So like finding those places where you can like sit down, like have lunch, or maybe study before you can interact before classes. That just like really helps, especially in college where one of the curves you're gonna have to get used to is like sometimes you have an hour gap, sometimes you have like 10-minute gaps, and just finding out like maybe instead of this hour gap, I have to relax and prepare for like next class. So when I enter class, I'm like emotionally and mentally ready for stuff like that. I think one of the harder parts was just that learning curve because I know when you first get in, you're like, oh, I have to study between this 1 hour gap, or I'm like wasting my time. And just knowing that just you can be efficient in your time if you're being like purposeful. So like you can purposely take time off. This is like just for that 1 hour. Like, okay, it's best for me if I'm ready for the next class rather than like rushing studying and coming into class like tired or just not focused.
Yeah, something that made the transition easier was just communicating and talking with professors, talking with friends, making new friends, and creating study groups and creating those lasting friendships. Because I know, like, when I was a first year student coming in, it was very daunting to think, oh, I have to go through these classes alone, studying, trying to figure out this all by myself. But then as I'm in the class and I'm struggling, just one simple question, talking to a friend, just saying, do you understand this? That question just brought in a full friendship and for years, and just communicating and going through classes, not by yourself, but with people that are in the same interest, in the same major, or even in the same kind of area of like college and science of math. Just you will be seeing each other a lot and you may have a lot of classes together. So just communicating and finding those people who are in that area and want to go through like classes with you, that really helped.
Thank you. Okay, we have another two-parter question. So, how did your family help with your transition into college, and what do you wish your family had known?
My family helped a lot just by because it was a really big transition. So they helped us just being supportive. That enough. That was a lot in and of itself. The reality is the work itself, there was nothing they could help with. That was all on me, but that's okay. But knowing that they were there, that they have your back as far as just that support, knowing that you had someone in your corner, if you're boxing, you need someone in the corner to help you out, and that they were my corner people. So that was the best part, just knowing that they were there. That helped to keep me inspired and just energized and motivated in those times when it was absolutely difficult, but you knew you had to keep going.
For me, the same. My family, support that they even they like whenever they saw me stressed or whenever they see me busy, they're supportive because they love me. But one of the hardest things was that for them maybe to like understand the actual workload and the actual stress and the actual toll it gets on you. I think that's the biggest struggle. At first, my parents didn't understand, oh my gosh, you're studying too much or you're over there way a lot. It's like, what are you doing over there? I had to like sit down with them and explain to them a little bit, like explain to them, okay, mom, dad, this is like what I'm doing. This is what I've been doing. So if you guys could, maybe just take into like understanding it. And yeah, slowly but surely they realized, okay, it's a lot, and you know what, we're gonna try our best to understand it. So that's where it comes in, like the support that even though they don't understand, and they still don't sometimes, they still support me and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna help you, and no matter in which wherever I can. And but that has been the struggle, and we're still working on it. So it's a trial and error. So yeah.
For me, my mom has always stressed the value of college. She used to tell us all the time. She was like, "I didn't come here on a boat for you guys not to go to college." And I was like, that is so right. So I should go to college. But she very much
gave me support in terms of like, well, one, financial support. She very much always wanted to make sure that I didn't have to worry about having to work all the time or have to worry about where I'm going to be able to eat next, because she was able to provide that for me. But something that she didn't understand was definitely like Melina was saying, the workload, because when I was trying to explain to her like, oh, I'm having trouble with my classes, and it's not like she can really teach me calculus because she didn't get a high school graduation because she left the country. It was very hard for her to resonate with the fact that my struggles and her struggles are going to be different. Like her struggles stem from, you know, coming from a different country, from war and stuff like that. And then my struggles come from having to pass my calculus 3 class. So it was really, really difficult being able to explain how both of those struggles are valid, but they are different. And I hope that she does understand now, hopefully. I hope she does actually. But I would like to think that if I were to have just the mental support, then I felt like I would have even gone farther in college. So I know that hopefully you guys will be able to have someone in your corner like that.
Yeah, I agree with Larry and Melina. Honestly, it's just understanding the time commitment. I know my parents always get on to me like, why are you coming home back so late? It's like, I promise you, if I had control over my classes, I'd be home at 2 p.m. I'd have a shower, I'd be ready for bed and everything like that. But like, you know, especially as a master's student, like I have a class that ends at 7:30 p.m. It's not like I have no control over it. It's just them being understanding, and then but also like knowing that it's a process for them. Like for the past 18 years, you've always woken up at 8, you got off at school at 3. So it's kind of like give them some grace. Like they've been so used to like this schedule for your whole life that now this is like a sudden change for them.
Yeah, I'll be echoing what everybody else has been saying. That support, really having that support was great and is great for me. Just even if it's just a simple, did you get all your homework done for the day? Simple as that. Just reminding me, oh, did I get everything done? Did I finish everything? Yeah, I needed that support, and I loved that support.
Fantastic. Thank you, students. The next couple of questions, we're going to put Mrs. Thibodeau in the hot seat as our parent joining us. Christine, the first question, what surprised you about your students' transition from high school to college? So what surprised you about your students' transition?
Well, I think Andy kind of mentioned it a little bit, you know, it didn't surprise me as much, but having Jeffrey live at home, our older ones left the house to go to college, and Jeffrey's living at home. So, you know, just that whole, you know, the 8 to 3 coming home, and, you know, having to, knowing his schedule and now not knowing his schedule. And I know his schedule, but just, you know, allowing him to become an adult that, you know, that's, it's a growing process for us. That is a process. And, you know, you are, and all of the students probably on here are adults. So we as parents have to allow the students to become adults and to grow and to allow them to manage their own time and to trust them. So that is a process as a parent. So I work at it every day. And he still lives in the home. So, you know, it's a struggle. I got to admit, it is a struggle sometimes, but I'm doing my best.
Thank you. What do you wish you had known before your students transitioned into college?
I knew a lot. I gotta admit, I knew a lot because I work at Fresno State, but all transparency. But knew probably more about I want to echo the reaching out to the instructors, to reach out to the instructors. And I know you guys have all said that. When I was a student there way back when, it wasn't a common practice for students to just knock on a door, go to faculty office hours. It was scary. It was scary. The faculty student relationship was a lot different back in the 80s. I'm dating myself now. So it was just very different. So you couldn't, that relationship was a lot different way back then. So I see the relationship Jeffrey is having with his faculty members, and it's amazing. He can ask them any questions anytime. It is amazing. And I know I want to see that with all the students. And I see that working there as well. And I think way back in the day, I would have been a much better student had I had that opportunity. But I didn't. And the students today have such a gift offered to them with the relationship, with having this one-on-one relationship with the faculty members, and they need to take that gift. So that's my advice to you.
Thank you, Christine. Do you have any other follow-up? What's your best piece of advice to parents?
That was my piece of advice.
That was it. Okay.
Best advice.
Best advice.
Take that gift of a relationship with your faculty member, and take all the nuggets you can get from them, and go with it. Don't be scared to ask questions. Knock on their door, ask questions, send emails. Take what you can get. They're there for you.
Dr. Bush?
Yes.
Mind if I add something to that?
Please do.
I'm a parent of a college student.
Yes.
So we're both in college. And what Christine said is definitely something that I wanted to really just put out there for students and for parents. And that is, there are ways that I might do things as a student that my daughter may not. And I have to allow her to do it her way. I have to allow her to schedule her things and to do the things that she does her way. It's nice to give input, but at the same time, we have emerging adults. And with that, they're learning, and they're learning how to be themselves. They're learning to step out. So be there, be that listening ear, be that shoulder, be there with the hands to hold out, to be there to support, but allow them to venture out, to spread their wings and figure this out.
Yes.
Making sure that they understand that you're there to support all the way, that you're right there, but let them spread their wings.
Yes. Well said.
Great advice. Thank you. We're going to turn it back to the students and ask students, what is your best piece of advice to new students about to enter college?
My biggest piece of advice, after 1 year, is getting out of your comfort zone. I know that's a little bit challenging and it's a little scary, but I feel like that has been the biggest asset in like my college experience. That has helped me a lot. I have reached out. I have scheduled meetings with faculty, advisors, professors, and it has helped me a lot in reaching out. I was able to become a student assistant on campus, so that has helped me a lot. In seeing the inside scope and realizing that staff is actually there to help and support each and every student, as long as the student searches for them and looks and finds and figures out. But that and I think that should be one of the biggest ones, to like how Yasmina said, spread your wings and don't be afraid to learn more about yourself and learn more about those around you.
My two biggest pieces of advice, my first one is read the syllabus. If I had a quarter for every time I missed a test because I didn't read a syllabus, I would have 50 cents. My second piece of advice is kind of like what Melina was saying. Just put yourself out there, especially in like your classes. Like the person next to you probably also doesn't know anybody, so you're all fresh, like starting fresh. I would also say get involved with clubs and stuff like that. I was pretty involved with like HMSA, like Hmong Student Association. Lao Student Association was one that I was kind of associated with. But there's like literally a club for anything. I think there was like a chess club. There was a club for like natural science major, just random things out there and random people to talk to that are definitely willing to make friends with you. Because like I said, nobody knows each other. Everyone's coming from different places. So be willing to talk to other people, and including your professors too. A lot of professors are very not, I want to say laid back, but they're open to conversation. So be willing to do that.
I can talk next. I said earlier, but just discover the type of student you are. I know for me, that would really help is like just finding places where I felt comfortable, like just studying or thing that. And then I think through the years, I've discovered like, I don't like studying outside because I don't like the wind that, like, there's a lot of wind at Fresno State. So I'm more of an indoors. I don't really like a lot of people being around me and moving. So, the library doesn't work for me. But like just discovering spots you like and knowing that after class, even if like you fail a test, like there's always a spot that I feel safe at, and then I can like decompress and get ready for the next part. And another is just realizing that sometimes if you do fail a quiz or an exam, sometimes you just have to, for me personally, I always just close my laptop after I finish an exam because, it's better not to put energy in stuff that's already happened because there's not like, no matter how stressed you are about something, or if you wish you could go back and change it, like all that worry that you're placing onto that test isn't going to change your grade and stuff like that. And when I was earlier in my career path, I felt a lot more stress and stuff like that. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that it's better to place energy on like improving for the next rather than worrying about the past.
I think the biggest piece of advice or the best piece of advice I would give would be to take initiative when you're in classes and you don't know anybody. Just asking a simple question, or you don't know something for an exam, asking the professor and just taking that initiative to go ask and to step out of your comfort zone, like what Melina was saying, just stepping out and going. Just asking around and finding people and just making those new connections. Just taking that small initiative could mean the difference between passing a class and not passing. By making friends and not making friends, it is huge.
Taking in everything everybody said, that is the advice I would give as well. And that is to get involved. You take ownership. You are a bulldog. Take ownership. It's like if somebody buys you a sweater. Normally, when somebody buys us something new, a cozy sweater, we enjoy the sweater because we wear it. We put it on. We take ownership. We get comfortable in it. That's what you need to do with your journey at Fresno State. Get comfortable with it. Put it on. Wear your school spirit shirt. I think I wore a Fresno State t-shirt 4 out of 5 days a week because I wanted to represent. But when you do that, you become, good thing I already bleed blood red, because I would have bled red had I not. But take ownership. It's your campus. So get involved, say hi, take pride in this process.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, panelists. We very much appreciate your voice here. That's a great way to end this segment. Thank you, students and parents, once again. I will hand it back over to our hosts. Thank you for being part of the College of Science and Math family. We look forward to seeing you around campus.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you to the entire panel. That was really, really insightful and I think hopefully very helpful. I'd like to take this moment now to invite Dean Meyer back to provide a few closing remarks. Thank you, Dean Meyer.
Great. Well, we hope that you found this conference We hope that you found this conference engaging and enlightening. I certainly did. And just taking some notes from the panel and also from our outstanding speakers. And it's amazing how many mutually reinforcing narratives and thoughts came out of that from all our stakeholders, really. This notion of communication and connection and getting out of your comfort zone and not mentors and the importance of positive mentoring that can happen. And also, you can, be, engage in the experience and taking into account life circumstances, your pathway will be unique and you can be very successful. So can't thank all of them enough for that. It's been great to share this information with you, and we look forward to working with you as you advance towards your degree and a great rewarding career out there. Really a whole new world awaits you. And we're excited about you joining this community and network. Talk about networking, that came up a lot, and you're on a very meaningful path. Your own path, but the intersection with what we can do together for collective impact is very powerful. So we're here to support students and families and provide that education and training that for success. We aspire really to deliver these kinds of research experiences inside and outside the classroom, interdisciplinary training when we can. As you can see, we're a very diverse college. We really empower this next generation to really solve those complex regional and global challenges. And, sometimes, and again, echoing back to the words of Dr. Matsui, sometimes, we think that because of where we're from or what we might look like, we're not meant to be scientists and mathematicians. Nothing could be further from the truth. And science advances when we bring together diverse teams with different expertise, perspectives, and lived experiences that can explore and solve problems in new, innovative, and creative ways. And so your diverse backgrounds are strengths that you bring to your disciplines, not weaknesses. We hope that the words of Dr. Carl Oswald, Dr. Martin Shapiro, Dr. John Matsui, our wonderful panel, have inspired you and really lit a fire in your mind about learning and your potential and the positive impact you can have moving forward on yourself and our whole ecosystem. And again, great panel, and hoping to provide you with a better understanding of the college experience and to take ownership of that and communicate and check in with each other. So the success of our college is really more than our teaching and research activity, right? It's about the development of human capital and the rising and advancing of the next generation of 21st century scientists, mathematicians, educators. And that's you. So we're proud of the accomplishments of our alumni. You heard from a few of them today. They're going on to professional schools, exciting industry positions, as part of an in-demand workforce. So our graduates are having a great impact on the Valley and beyond. And we look forward to working with you and celebrating your achievements. And so today is the beginning of our partnership, and really enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we look forward to seeing you in person here at Fresno State. Excelsior.
Thank you again, Dean Meyer. As we draw to a close, we'd like to look ahead to what's next and how we can continue to be engaged. As a starting point, please visit our College of Science and Mathematics website to learn more about events and research opportunities in the college. All you got to do is type in Fresno State CSM for College of Science and Math, and it should be one of the first links that pops up as you see on the screen here. So take a few minutes to get acquainted with the web page and its sections before you start your semester. Next slide, please. And then you'll also see on the screen here, mimics the web page, but you'll see the Students tab. That's a great starting point for information on available resources. And from there, you can reach the Advising and Resource Center and find links to support systems, resources, clubs, and opportunities for scholarship and research. Go ahead and advance.
Great. We also advise you to take advantage of the hands-on research opportunities our college offers. I cannot stress how important it is for you to network and get experience in the field you want to work in throughout your college journey. Starting on day one, year one is okay and highly suggested. Whether it be through faculty student research, internships, service and community-based learning, just to name a few opportunities. These experiences will give you a better understanding of how the learning you are doing in your classes ties to your potential future work. One really good example is to begin to understand the science behind the videos that we showcase today. Next slide, please. Thank you. And finally, connect with us on social media. You can scan the QR codes below to visit our Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube page. We post important information, upcoming events and activities, and highlight the work being done within the school. Next slide, please.
That's the end of our program for today. On behalf of all of us in the college, thank you again for taking time to join us. Your encouragement and support of your students' education is critical for their success. We hope that you enjoyed our time together and feel better prepared for what's next. We look forward to working with you in the coming years and to celebrating with you when your students cross that graduation stage. Please look out for an email from us that you should receive later next week. We'll invite you to provide some feedback on our time together today, and that will be helpful for us as we plan for future events like this. Goodbye for now and have a great afternoon.
Indeed. Goodbye, but not for long. Have a great afternoon, good weekend, and
all soon.
wonderful semester. See you guys.